Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 347. 337? What are we on, Evan?
Yeah, 347.
34. Okay, see, I thought I had it right. 347.
I don't know. The lack of confidence was like a verbal flashbang for me.
Oh, man. 3, a 4, and a 7. 347. Coming up on 350 soon, which means then we're 50 episodes away from the 400 mark, Evan. So you got a year to figure out the shirt. But tonight we have, let's see, MVG in like this blue, red. I don't know. There's a lot going on there. You got like a whole red light on your case. What's in your case?
What's my display?
Those are your releases
of all the games that I've worked on.
Got that super LED light.
I like it. I like it. I like it. How are we doing tonight, MVG?
I'm good. I've been gone for a few weeks. I've been gone for like 3 weeks, so it's good to be back. Thanks for holding it down, everyone.
It is good to have MVG back. He's been all over the place. A lot of stuff been happening. That and then paired with the holiday is a lot.
Busy time of the year right now. A lot of things going on, but good to be here.
We got OJ Player Essence here with us.
I do want to say thank you for having me on, John, and I want to tell MVG no.
No to my video that's coming out on Monday.
I'll probably
another
say
one?
no.
You just put a video out today. You're doing another one? Wow.
Yeah, I'm working on another one.
No.
Hey man, it's December. You gotta get that sweet December ad revenue.
There it is.
Before it all disappears.
Or it disappears into the vast the void in January.
Free in January.
Yeah.
Basically, you're paying YouTube in January.
That's why all these YouTubers take January off, because like they don't make anything in January.
Not me. I'm working hard, baby, on Kirby content.
About to put out
January.
40-something videos in January. We have Evans with us again tonight.
Why I hate MVG in December. I think that's a good
That
video.
might be it. That's the one right there.
I actually think I'm gonna do that.
It's gonna be the comp assaults where you're just like, he's so successful and good at what he does.
I think I'm just gonna clickbait it. I don't care what happens. I don't care about the repercussions.
Just going for it. We got Evans with us tonight too.
Yep.
Have Evan here, and Sean will be joining us soon. He'll be around. I think he's finishing up his video for tomorrow, so we'll have him in here because I got to ask him about this Batman trilogy, him and MVG, and I think OJ was playing it too. So actually, a lot more people picked it up than I thought would. So okay, good. Well, we have that.
You got two of the best third-party games ever created. Two.
That's true. Okay.
One of them not so much, but two of them really good.
The GTA 6 trailer coming up this week. Exciting stuff there, although there's some weird stuff happening online with that, so we'll see. The Game Awards are this week as well. Sega's doing some teasing, some other stuff apparently. Then we did have Jeff Keighley talk about Dave the Diver indie controversy. I actually wanted to ask MG about that because there was interesting definitions being thrown around about indie stuff now.
Yeah, because there's no solid definition for indie. Maybe
MVG can give us the word on what an indie game even is anymore.
It's an amorphous idea.
I'm going to default to what Evan just said, but I will give you my thoughts on what I think.
Okay, I'm also really happy to have MVG here because there's something that I feel like we've talked about a long time on this podcast, and then also external podcasts linked to like OJ's pre-shows. And I know I've seen Sean discuss this too when he did his game collection stuff. People starting to notice a little bit about digital libraries and just how safe they actually are from these platform holders after something that took place this week with Sony. Got Xbox CFO, Game Pass talk. MVG might be allowed on Reddit again, and Level 5 delayed, Deca Police, and then got the Professor Layton release date that brought up Switch 2 stuff because why not? Let's see. I do want to start with different shout outs here for sponsors over on the Spawncast Network. Got some executive producers here. Achievement, John O, Joshua Butts, Mr. Job, and William Hogue. And we do have the Game Orb sponsor who has also stayed on for January now. So I want to give a shout out here to the Game Orb, who's sticking with us as the sponsor. Make sure you guys check out their channel. I'll have it linked down below in the description. Definitely check out their their vlogs that they do around the different conventions, as well as gameplay video, which they've been sticking with and doing more and more as they've gone along, seemingly with just games they enjoy, but also some newer stuff. And they stream over on Twitch. So start at YouTube, check out their Twitch stuff. They have all of that linked also on their YouTube channel. But big shout out to the Game Orb. And make sure you check out Game and Talk. Direct Xbox went live. MVG's Ask a Developer is up tomorrow. So a lot of stuff happening there. A lot of plans. The Game Awards coming up. It's going to be a fun week, I think, coming up here. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening. People are going to be streaming all over the place. OJ, I assume you're streaming constantly this week with everything happening. So
I'm always streaming. But yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. Game Awards is always a super, super fun to stream. Real quick with the Game Awards, I remember when my first Game Awards that I streamed, like the first one that they had, I think I got over 1,000 new subscribers that day. It was just the game. Okay. Yeah, it was nuts. And ever since then, I was like, well, I'm going to be streaming the Game Awards every single time. Just because it's always, no matter what you think about the Game Awards, it's always just fun to come hang out, and just see potentially what could happen, or just hang out with the homies and see. This is the closest thing we got, like, to the Oscars or Grammys or whatever, right? So even if it sucks, like, it's just still cool to hang out and chat.
And then the audio strike kicks in and you can't stream for a week, and it's all just great.
OJ, I have a question. OJ, is Black Keely going to make a return this year?
Black Keely will be here next week. I've pretty much put up. I've got one more part left.
Took the suits to dry cleaners, getting everything ready to go. Let's go.
So yeah, we have an award show for the Spawncast, guys. It's called the Black Keely Awards, and it'll be it'll be on the Player Essence channel. You guys can check it out if you want. There's past episodes of great winners, and everybody here is deserving. So this year is probably going to be the I don't want to hype it up, but it's probably going to be the funniest year yet. So look out for it.
Can Black Keely watch the Keely Awards? Can maybe that be a thing?
I think it's going to be a fun week. I actually think Jeff's done a pretty good job of not overselling the Game Awards yet. He still has like 5 days to mess it up. So I can't say he's made it yet, but it hasn't been as overhyped, I feel, as previous years. So that might help going into this entire presentation. But let's with all the shout outs and everything done, let's start with we actually start with GTA 6, because we are getting the trailer. So we're going to get GTA 6, then we're going to go into the Game Awards just 2 days later. I guess Rockstar is just like, hey, here, next week, we're calling the shot. Tuesday, December 5th, trailer 1, 9 a.m. Eastern time. I do want to point out that the tweet currently has 1.8 million likes and 141.1 million views.
Damn. That's probably going to pay out about $150 on X. Pretty good.
I'm looking at this and I'm trying to figure out what kind of views the trailer is going to get, because people are going to watch the trailer multiple times. I'm almost wondering if this is going to challenge. I think Spider-Man. I think it was Far From Home, No Way Home. I think that got the most views in the first 24 hours at like 300 million for a trailer that was uploaded across YouTube and the internet. So I almost wonder if it's going to rival that. But when I see this tweet at 141 million views, and I feel like Twitter or X has, in a given day, I think it's like 280 or almost 300 million people on it. I mean, that's pretty substantial for Rockstar to post this up and get those kind of views. So I stand by my thought that this is going to be one of the biggest events we've ever seen in gaming history.
In the world. One of the biggest media events ever.
It's probably gonna be like a 3-minute trailer, and it's gonna like break parts of the internet.
Remember, it's trailer 1, right? Remember, like last time, I think there was like 6 or 7 of them in the end. Like they did a bunch of them.
Oh, you're right.
So they could really, like, over the next 5 months just drop a trailer once a month. So we may get a bunch of these trailers. Yeah, I think so. Because if you go back and look at the previous one, they had a bunch of trailers, and there was like one after the other. So I would expect the same thing to happen here. I don't think they're going to just, show their hand immediately. I think they're going to tease. They're going to show off some really cool stuff. Maybe just the city. The first trailer may just talk about the city and, some kind of high level stuff. But I think they're going to go deeper as they progress into more trailers. Because I remember last time they had so many trailers. If you go back and look.
Yeah, I think go ahead, OJ.
Sorry, I got a question. Do you think that we will be alive for the next Grand Theft Auto? So Grand Theft Auto 7, will we be around?
I hope not.
But you guys will be alive. I won't be. I'll be either dead or retired, but you guys will still be here.
I'm retired on an island somewhere.
Hopefully.
Good.
Hopefully on an
island of San Andreas.
Australia's an island technically, so I guess, you know,
okay.
we could do that.
Be out there on the beach, man, just hanging out. Hanging out, playing it on your Steam Deck 3.
Oh my God.
I think in this case they're gonna set up the, as you said, MVG, the city. People believe it's Miami, and they'll probably set up the two main characters, the couple that's supposed to be based on like Bonnie and Clyde. But then I assume the trailers following will probably be supporting characters and probably ridiculous out of context scenarios and all kinds of stuff. But I'm curious about, obviously, the visuals, the animations, because apparently those are like the big thing that's rumored to be next level. But then also, I guess, how well the world or the area is built out when it comes to going in these different buildings or that sort of thing. So I'm really curious if this thing's called GTA 6. I assume they're going to give us a title here.
You don't think it's Vice City?
You
think you don't think it's just Vice City, like set in Vice City again? Or...
No, I mean, like I think. I still wonder if they're going to put a number on it or they just call it Grand Theft Auto and that's it. And it's just a platform they build on.
It might.
Is it a single player game? Is it always online and they try to merge the online and the single player together with the role playing stuff? And I don't know. I'm curious how they approach this whole thing.
I mean, I think it's probably just going to be the similar type of format than GTA 5. Maybe there's more emphasis on the online stuff, but I think the thing about GTA is that it means a lot to different people for different reasons. Like I'm a big fan personally of the single player stuff. Like I love GTA 4 and GTA 5, the single player. I don't think I've played much of online. It's not really my thing, but I know a lot of people love the online stuff and don't care about the single. It's kind of like Call of Duty, but obviously it's not Call of Duty. But there's going to be something there, I think, for the fans of GTA, whether you like the online stuff or if you like the single player. But I'm all in on the single player stuff. I want to check that out for sure. Okay,
I saw some people in the chat saying that there was a leak for the title or just the setting. I mean, the setting, again, Miami, we figured it was that, but
the thing about that leak stuff, I know we're going to talk about it, is none of it's been confirmed yet.
I'm a little concerned on that still.
I'm not sure if that's real. So we'll see anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of where because we move into some of the leak stuff, because the story behind it's ridiculous. Apparently it's one of the guys who works there at Rockstar North, their son or something, posted it on TikTok, and that's how we're getting this information. And it's like footage of the TV off screen, and they're like looking at it in a dev build mode, and I don't know, it seems a little suspect.
It feels a little too good, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the timing. I mean, I could see somebody, if they are younger, for example, who's like, ooh, I could get 1 million some odd views, no problem with this on TikTok and boost it. But I don't know. It seems a little weird. But I saw some people mention that some of the leaks are pointing to it actually being called Vice or something. So, I mean, I assume we're finding out in that trailer. The big thing is they're going to give us a title for it. And that's what I'm curious about. Yeah, but if they don't have a number on it, that's interesting.
I mean, they could just call it Grand Theft Auto and just kind of reboot the name. But you're right. I think there'll be a title. There'll be the city, the world, high level info about the game and what we should expect to see from the next game, which is going to be awesome. Yeah. I can't wait. I'm so excited for it.
I fired it back up on the PS5 to check it out again, and it still feels like a 360 PS3 game. So, I mean, it looks better on the PS5, of course, but it's not. Doesn't feel that current anymore. So I'm looking forward to see what they can do with it.
I mean, you got to remember that's a 360 in PS
2013 game. Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Yep. 2013. I mean,
a long time.
It still looks pretty impressive, like the details and things that they've done with it. And then people on the modding scene on PC have done some really impressive stuff with it visually. But I just want to see what they have for us with this trailer. It's going to be ridiculous when it drops. Everyone's going to do reaction videos to it, and they should, because it's going to be popular. And I'll probably do it too. So I'm setting everyone up for it. Sean.
Yes.
Your video good for tomorrow?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, there you go. Everyone, you heard it here first. Sean will have a video tomorrow.
I will.
Breaking news. How you doing, Sean?
I'm all right.
Good. Let's we just talked about GTA 6. Are you excited for the trailer?
Yeah, it'll be cool to see how it's advanced from 5, to see like what's new with it.
I thought about firing up GTA Online, but I feel like you need like a crew for that at this point with how much is advanced. So
Right.
Unless anyone wants to play GTA Online, I'll just wait and see what we have here. Evan used to play it a good bit, actually, GTA Online. So you gonna check out GTA 6, Evan, or the online at all?
I guess, but I mean, if you think about how Rockstar releases this, you guys will see it for about a year before I eventually get it, because they tend not to release on PC first.
See, I am wondering if they're going to drop PC.
I am hoping.
Day and date. I feel like they are. I feel like they are this time around.
Because they're working really hard to try to, like, I guess, pseudo factor in the RP community that gets so much viewership online that, like, if they skip it, it's going to be a problem. And I don't know.
Well, so I also feel like they're going to have that tech built in, ray tracing, DLSS, all the bells and whistles of modern video games. I think that stuff is going to be there. I don't know. I just get the feeling that we're not going to wait. We may wait a little bit for the PC version, but we're not waiting like a whole year for it. I think it's going to be pretty close. Hopefully day and date.
That'd be good to have a day and date for that. Steam Deck verified whole thing. No, if you try to play Red Dead Redemption 2 on the Steam Deck, it's a whole thing. Like, they make you try to sign into an account, social club, and it's just annoying. But we'll have it this week. It's going to be big, exciting stuff. Looking forward to it. Well, now that everyone's here, Sean's here, MVG's here, OJ's here. The Batman trilogy is out on the Switch. And at least Arkham Knight kind of went, I think, how a lot of people were expecting. But tell me how everything else went. You can also tell me how Knight went.
Well, Sean and OJ, you guys have played the trilogy. I've only played the Knight game, so I can't really speak to that. So you guys go ahead. And
There's a video up on RGT85 where you can get all of the details about it. You can see footage for all 3 games as well.
Can we get a TLDR, like a 1 word or something?
Asylum.
Hold on. Which one did you fire up first, Sean?
Asylum.
Wow, interesting. I thought you'd fire up City right away.
No, I saved the best.
There are crazy DMs at one point of Sean screaming at Nate because Batman is not in a direct here or there because he wants his Arkham City so bad, and he fires up Asylum first.
No, it's work, John. Yeah, I did Asylum first, and then I did Night, and then I did. Where's that right? Yeah, I think that's the way I did it. And then I did City. Asylum's all right. City is really good. Night is should give refunds for it. Honestly, like it's that bad. How
much are they separately? Are they 20 each?
20 each. Like in my footage, you could see where it literally goes to 0 frames per second, and the game just comes to a complete stop. And then it starts. It starts up again. It's fucking pathetic. But I've actually been playing through City again. Like I'm getting deep into it. I've beaten it on like everything, but I don't know. I just love it. It's such a good game.
Is that 30 on the Switch? 30 frames?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. But I mean, you just wanted it for handheld mode. That's like the biggest thing for you, right? I want it.
Yeah, I just wanted to see how it was. I mean, I have it on the Steam Deck too, but it's Night was just unfucking believable.
20 frames or $20, 0 frames at times. You said other times. I mean, if you like, okay, so if you just like are in a fight in Arkham Knight, it's
sluggish.
Is it manageable? Okay, sluggish. All right, got it.
It's sluggish.
You have the counter system in the game. I mean, if it's sluggish, it's not gonna be great.
Textures don't load, or maybe they're not like fully realized to begin with. The fighting is extremely sluggish. The driving is goddamn impossible because the frame rate is so bad. You have to like brace for when you need to turn, and like it feels horrible. I can't believe how bad it turned out. And at that point, it's like, why are you even trying this? Like, just do the 2 games or something. Call it a dual pack.
They should have done Origins. That's what they should have done. That's what me and somebody else was talking about. Would have been good if they just did Origins.
That one wasn't made by Rocksteady though. These are all the Rocksteady games.
I understand, but this in terms of what they're doing, like why did they? It's because it's not like they still took time and resources to port this game. So what's the point if this is because they're seeing everything that you're seeing when they're making the game. So I don't understand why they even wasted the time to port the game over. They should have just whatever deal that they had to work out for Origins, because that game is better. Like people don't talk about it as if it's like one of the best games because Arkham Asylum and Arkham City are so good, but Origins is not bad. It's not a bad game, and I think it would have been better maybe if they just did that, especially considering the results of this. You know
what? I'm curious. Why did they? I'm not really sure why they didn't knight them, because on the PS4 they released Return to Arkham, and that was just Asylum and City. And I'm not really sure why they decided we need knighted here if it was going to run like that. Just do those two for $40, and that's like.
And I mean, it's not like it's not like it's not apparent. Just from the fucking intro cutscene when you're at the cafe, like the logo on the mug takes like 10 seconds to load. Like it's insane. And like you're in that first person perspective because you're the cop and you go over to the guy who's smoking in the booth. It's insane, dude. It's garbage. I would say it's down there with WWE 2K18.
Oh, no,
legit.
2K18 tag. I did fire it up on the Steam Deck OLED when all this was going on just to see where it was, because I'm like, I haven't played Knight on PC in a long time, and I remember when it first came out, I had like a GTX 770M in my laptop, and that thing
probably beat that up.
Almost exploded. Yep. It was bad. But I played it on the Steam Deck OLED and 45 to 60 frames at 800p on the OLED. And if I stare at the sky, I get 90 frames. But MVG, you overclocked this thing. What was the move here?
I mean, you can get it running at 60, but Sean's right. I mean, there is underlying issues with the game. It doesn't matter if you overclock and try to get a good frame rate out of the game. No matter what you do, it doesn't have a smooth frame rate. There's a lot of frame pacing issues. I think the underlying issue is that the streaming system, where it's just pulling in assets all the time as you kind of move through the world, especially when you're in the car, because it's trying to grab as much as it can, right? And I think it's just struggling to keep up. And I think ultimately, Arkham Knight on the Switch is not the move. I don't think the game really was ever meant to run on the Nintendo Switch, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's an Unreal Engine 3 game. Yeah, look, I mean, you could say the developers were lazy, they didn't optimize the game, but I think this is one of those games where I felt like they probably tried to do as much as they could without basically spending another 12 months trying to optimize the game, and they did the best that they could, right? So I think it's interesting because, we don't really know why the decision was made to actually bring Knight to the Switch. But yeah, look, it's not good. It's not good. I think they can fix it somewhat, but I'd be very surprised if they addressed the performance issues in a patch going forward.
This one we put a pin in now and come back to if we get a system that's backwards compatible for Nintendo, as this being one of the games that we should benchmark on the next platform just to see.
I think so. I mean, that's a good point. It could be a good candidate for next generation hardware. We would try
to write those games down, and try to figure out which ones like we're beating up this current system.
This is definitely one of those games that you want to kind of put a pin in for next gen. But yeah, Arkham Knight is, I don't even know why it's on the Switch. It just doesn't belong on the Switch. It's just, I'm not saying it's too powerful for the Switch, because we've seen games like The Witcher and Doom Eternal that run really well on the Switch, but in its current form, it just doesn't belong on the hardware.
Well, you said it's an Unreal Engine 3 game.
Yes.
Isn't that why Saints Row 3, was it 3 that came out that ran horribly, but then 4 was like okay?
That's exactly right. UE3 has, for whatever reason, it doesn't scale well on the Switch. I don't know why. I've never worked with UE3, but it's just not good.
I want everyone to realize that that's a game running on Unreal Engine 3, and it looks, just the game in general, like if you play it on the PC or I guess the PS5, backwards compatible, whatever, looks better, I'd say, it most of the time than Gotham Knights. Just putting it out there. Okay, so, but you can buy them separately. What's the move then? Buy City? And just be like, you know what? That's the one. Throw $20 at that. You'll get your Batman experience.
Yeah, I mean, Asylum is good, but I don't know. I feel like something is just slightly off with it. But like City is fucking great. Like I've already put I played it a bunch today. I took a break from some Spider-Man stuff so I could do some real stuff as a superhero, like solving murders, not petty things.
Oh, here we go.
One.
Spider-Man's dope, but some of the side missions, I just roll my eyes at. Like, I don't know. I get it because he's kind of a dork, but not. Yeah, I would say City's the move. City's, and it looks really good on the OLED too.
Like, oh yeah.
In handheld mode, it's really good.
Okay. I'd wait for a discount. I mean, this game's gonna get discounted, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
they'll be on sale for $10, probably start of the year.
Yeah,
but I do find it.
I wouldn't buy it for 60. Sorry, Sean.
No. Definitely don't buy the collection because no. But if you just want one game, $20 for City, I think that's fine. But I find it interesting that you two were saying, oh, with the next Switch, backwards compatible, bring it back. What's to say that anything in that system will enhance older games?
Nothing at all. I mean, we're just making assumptions based on what we've seen with the Xbox and the PlayStation 5, really. Like, we're not, I don't really know anything. Like, there's no assumptions being made.
Is the frame rate uncapped on this thing, MVG, for Night?
I don't really know. I think it is. I think it is, right? Because it goes all over the place, and you can tell they're just trying to push as many frames as they can. So I think it's uncapped, but wait for DF because I know they've got a video coming out on Monday or Tuesday about it, so they'll tell us more. But yeah, I think it is uncapped.
A PS3 game. I saw some of that. If it is uncapped, though, that's usually the biggest issue run into. Great example is Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen on consoles is locked at 30. And wait, coming up in March.
Hold on.
So we got to open up that frame rate cap if we can. And
hold on.
Okay.
You can't. The chat is saying that you can't buy them individually.
What? Really?
That's what my chat said too. That's why you guys were saying you can buy it individually. My chat was saying you can't buy it individually as well earlier.
Really?
Well, then they could go fuck off with that because it's the same bullshit that fucking Metal Gear has.
Anyone have their Switch next to them right now? Can they verify? Because I saw them up on the store separately.
I'm pulling it. Okay, already downloaded. I'm pulling it up on my thing. Yeah, that fucking pissed me off when it doesn't have an individual launcher and it downloads the 3 games individually and they all have 3 different icons. Arkham City.
It says not available. It's okay, so it has a listing, but it says not available.
There might be a time limited thing happening here, but probably not.
I swear on the build up to it, it was definitely mentioned you could buy them separately at one. I gotta find the.
So then, don't buy this bullshit.
Don't buy it then.
No,
I'm sorry. That's why then. Don't buy it then.
That's why I said wait for a discount.
Weird.
No, fuck that. That's bullshit. Considering the fact that you have to, that when you buy it, it does 3 individual downloads.
Yeah. Hold on, it has its own listing on the eShop. The size 11.9 gigabytes. The whole thing. Why can't you buy that separately?
I wonder if in 2 months you'll be able to, or something. Like if they're just waiting.
That's horseshit. That's absolute horseshit. Yeah, no. I steer clear of it until it's individual or something like that. That's why would it have its own page? That makes no sense.
I can't recommend. Also, if you get it physically, it just has Asylum on there. You have to download the other ones. Yeah. So I would wait on that because it's weird that they have them here, but they're not available. I almost wonder if they will just become available digitally separate. Maybe Evan's right. There's like this little timed exclusive thing on it or something.
Metal Gear, all individual. Just saying.
Yeah. I don't get this at all.
Day one.
Yeah, no, I can't recommend that $6 collection then.
No, hell no.
That's tough. That's tough.
I'm checking out Arkham Knight. I'm doing some more because I'm putting together some stuff, and the driving literally is almost like
it's terrible.
Unplayable. Terrible. It's pretty much like it's And also like the resolution and the like what you see on screen is just
well, it's got some dynamic resolution in there because you can literally see it like it looks okay, and then it just gets really, really like grainy, and then it gets better, then it gets grainy, and it's just a mess. Absolute mess.
So this will definitely go on sale pretty quick, I think. If you look on like the PS4 right now, this same collection is $6. It's 90% off right now.
Hey.
So it's
Switch tax, baby. There's the real tax.
It'll be on sale, I figure, probably by next year. Like,
am I right in saying
now
that
it'll be on sale?
Am I right in saying the game was delayed once?
Yes, it was supposed to come out mid-October because Sean lost his mind around October 13th, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that's when I made a video. I said, "What the fuck's going on here? It's a little suspect."
You did actually.
Sure enough.
I can only assume that WB said, we need this for the holiday. Mate, whatever you need to do to get it done, just get it done. So I'm hopeful they can patch this game and make it better. I'm not expecting miracles, but they have to make it better than what it is right now.
The stuttering. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think anyone expected this to show up 4K 60, but
if they put fog that was like Turok in night and it ran better, I'd be okay with that. Honestly, I would.
It's raining out. It gets foggy. It happens.
Turn the rain off. I don't know.
It's foggy out right now.
Do something.
It is foggy out right now.
So many accidents on the
45 degrees and foggy is my weather.
There it is. Let's I do have to bring this up. The Game Awards this week, and some stuff starting to get teased a little bit. Kind of exciting because one of them is they're sending out not invites, but like save the date kind of things. Just make sure you're watching. Sean, Sega, they're sending out pieces of paper. They're mailing them. It's not even digital. They're mailing cards to people.
They didn't mail me anything because they know it's doo-doo butter, whatever it is. But if you are a Sega fan, you need to tune into my video tomorrow because I look at something that's very cool, but it pissed me off for a long time until I figured out something, and then it became very cool again. But I don't expect Sega to be doing diddly poo at this event. Like, it'll be some sort of thing that they feel is a big announcement. Like, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I pray that I'm wrong with this.
I have a theory as to what it is. So it says new era, new energy. Make sure to tune in to the Game Awards December 7th, right? Sega, their logo at the bottom. That's it, just on the card.
Chat thinks it's Virtua Fighter.
I think it's Virtua Fighter. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's a new Virtua Fighter.
Perfect. That's not even a word, but I'm making it one.
It's either so it's either a brand new one, which would be Virtua Fighter 6, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's either Virtua Fighter 6 or remember how that Virtua Fighter 3 TV or whatever?
Yes. Bring it to consoles.
Maybe they port that to consoles. And it's
dude, that's it. Either way, cool. That's a win. That is a win for Sega.
Good.
That's why
I thought it was AAA Knights and they showed up with Humankind.
I was hoping. There's a difference between hoping and predicting something.
I feel like there was a thumbnail with you like real excited with that
as a prediction, as a hope.
Well, okay, you're going in with lowered expectations for this one, but I feel like Sega's gonna have something kind of cool there for that then.
Well, then why did they
guys? Listen.
They sent it to the Maximilian guy,
big fighting game guy, and then they sent it to the girl's also a big fighting game person.
Oh, is the girl a big fighting game person? Because that's where I saw it. Mr.
She does fighting games. Yep, anime stuff on Twitch. Oh, yeah.
Wait, did Mr. Shijano get one?
No, Mr. Shijano made a tweet about it, and I was like, "It's Sega. It's probably gonna be bullshit." But I wasn't familiar with that chick, so I didn't know she was into fighting. Chick? I don't know her name. I just saw an original
Curious
tweet.
Joy.
Oh.
Yep. So she got one, and Max got one, and that it starts to add up to like a fighting game.
Did Justin Wong get one?
Oh.
Remember when they talked about they have a huge announcement the last time? You guys remember the last one?
It's Humankind. Yeah. Sean thought it was a AAA Knights.
Pretty big.
He was real excited.
I was hoping.
So I'm a little bit like Sega. They do this, So
yeah, but this I don't know. This actually does make sense with that news about Virtua Fighter. That was a weird one. The 3TB thing that was kind of out of left field. I was like, oh, what are they doing? Maybe they're getting Virtua Fighter up and running again.
Good.
3TB was good on the Dreamcast. I'd like to see that.
It's a good.
It was a launch game, right?
Well, it reviewed, yes, but it reviewed poorly because everyone loved the graphics, everyone loved the gameplay, but it was just how it was very similar. They didn't add in a bunch of new content because there was only 2 new characters that weren't in Virtua Fighter 2. So when it came out, you also had games like, Soul Calibur coming out, brand new games. Tekken was advancing with all these new characters and stuff. And Virtua Fighter played it safe.
You're right.
But as an actual game, it's fucking awesome.
It's great. Remember how it's got like the elevation, like it's got slopes in the game and stuff like that?
Yeah,
so,
slopes game room.
Yeah, there you go. I like 3TB. You're right. It did get buried a little bit with the other games that were out at the time, but man, if that's the move, I'm all in.
And it still looks great. Like playing the game. It's held up very well. So yes, I hope that's the move.
There's also a lot of discussion around there being another trailer for Death Stranding 2. So there you go.
I mean,
Sean's real excited.
No, I mean, that's pretty much
skit with the backpack and the boxes again.
I think that's pretty much expected, right?
Yeah, I feel like it is. Yeah, because
it'll be there in some capacity, even if it's just a glancing mention where there's verbal fellatio for 10 minutes, and hopefully it's just verbal.
Verbal
but
fellatio.
Yeah,
hey, I'm interested. I'm curious what they're doing with Death Stranding 2. As someone who enjoyed the first one for what it was.
If they do, because the director's cut additional stuff looked kind of decent, but I wasn't gonna rebuy the game because I was like, whatever. I think if they could mix the two, like I would be a lot more open to it.
I feel like the next one, they're not gonna do all the delivery stuff. I feel like it's gonna be completely different.
And if it is, like, I'll give it an honest shot. Like, I still think he could tell a decent story. I just hope Keely isn't in it again. That's just weird.
They'll just kiss it.
They had Conan O'Brien in it too.
Yeah, stop that.
Yeah, I feel like there is a bit of a twist in that second one, so I wouldn't mind seeing that. And then honestly, who knows at this point? Like again, there hasn't been a lot of hype. There was one thing Jeff mentioned, rocket racing or something. I'm sure a lot of people lost their mind on that. No. It's like a different. Hold on. He basically put it out there because he wasn't looking at it thinking it was gonna be like an internet breaking announcement. It was, where is it? He just had. Oh, here it is. Rocket racing.
Interesting.
There it is. Rocket racing. And then they also talk about the Fortnite stuff. So there you go. Lego Fortnite. Then there's rocket racing. Then there's a FNAF festival.
Isn't the rocket racing
Five Nights at Freddy's?
Isn't that a part of Fortnite though? They're putting like a racing game inside of Fortnite.
Oh, is it?
I'm pretty sure.
Rocket racing, race without limits. Rocket racing launches in Fortnite on December 8th. There you go.
Apology accepted.
I'm getting old, man. That actually looks like a legitimately different game. Huh? There you go. Man, what happened to Fortnite?
Eminem, he's in it. Did you see that?
Oh gosh, he had a backpack with spaghetti in it.
Pretty sure they're doing an Invincible crossover with it.
Yeah. That game. That's fine. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. I will see. OJ's gonna stream it. Might stream it on the Spawncast channel. We'll see how it all goes. I don't know. Might stream it there too, just for fun. Just see what we get, and then see who wins Game of the Year. Final prediction: who wins Game of the Year?
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate
won the fan voting, didn't it?
Also won the Golden Joystick Game of the Year too, I believe, right?
I saw some thing on Twitter, where it was like the fan voting, and Baldur's Gate got the highest percentage.
I'll go with Zelda with the upset. I
like it.
There you go. Let's go over to Sony. Okay, so this is really funny because I feel like people got, I don't want to say blindsided, but they got comfortable with this stuff, and a lot of realization just set in on this one. So Discovery, to my understanding, there was licensing stuff that expired, and Sony is going to be pulling these TV shows, movies, anything that Discovery, I guess, owns or has a hand in with it, Discovery content from your video library is being removed. Even if you have purchased it, it's just going away. So anything through the PlayStation Store, they're going to go into your digital library and just remove it. That set off an entire thing online where people all of a sudden realized what's in the terms of service, because that was the rebuttal by a lot of people was, look in the terms of service. It says they can do that. It's a thing we all scroll through and just press next on. But I think people realize that they are renting a lot of this stuff, and now people are asking questions about what happens with games in the future, far future, when there is no physical media or something. What if it's time for a game to go away because of, as they say, content licensing arrangements, and they just start pulling them out of your digital library? MG, you've been at the forefront with many people online, I see, over this game preservation or just DRM or what have you. I kind of feel like you looked at this and basically said, yeah, I saw this coming.
Wasn't really a surprise to see it. It's certainly not a victory lap or anything like that. I mean, this sucks. This really sucks for people that have, their library of movies that potentially could be taken away from them. I don't know what the answer is, but the digital future, I mean, we're seeing it unfold in front of our eyes. And yeah, it's probably not just going to be movies. I think it would also include video games as well. So it's a very scary, timeline that we're living in right now. I think things are just going to get worse. Go ahead.
Looking at the list right now. Wow. Okay, never mind. There's a lot more stuff than I thought. Cake Boss is in there?
No.
Oh,
man. They sort of halfway do it with games right now, right? Because racing games, because they have the legal thing with the cars and stuff, eventually have to get pulled down off the shop. You can still download them, but it's
there are some Xbox Live Arcade games that I purchased years and years ago that I can't get access to, like the Turtles games, the original ones that were on XBLA.
That's right. Yeah.
Remember the Mortal Kombat? There was like a Mortal Kombat trilogy, the 3 games that I can't get access to. Fucking Afterburner Climax, I can't play that game anymore. I mean, I can, of course, but I can't play it legally anymore. So, that's just the way it is. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. Just buy physical. Keep buying physical. I think is really
Evan scroll through all these games on Monday, or all these shows.
I'm just gonna record the scroll, and that's gonna be in the background.
You have to go through it really fast, dude. I clicked the link that they said to all the titles, and the little thing on the side, the scroll bar, just kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller as it loaded in. Dude, there's a lot. Wait, hold on. Did that just say? I gotta scroll. Wow, it's taking forever. Okay.
I mean, I'm kind of tired.
Oh no, it was Ghost Brothers. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm tired of a lot of these subscription services anyways, like creeping in with commercials and bullshit. Like Peacock. I don't have a Peacock. I use someone else's because I'm not fucking paying.
See, you're the problem.
Hulu kicked in the door on that. Hulu was like, you guys won't care, right? And now all the companies are like, ooh.
Try to use Hulu on an LG CX. It doesn't work.
For now.
No, it's been like that for a year.
Oh, you mean
because I also
do the ads not work, or does the program not work?
The app doesn't work.
That's happening with a lot of the programs, depending on companies behind it. Like Twitch has been almost pulled off of anything that isn't Amazon now. Like it's just gone.
Yeah, like I've been buying because like fucking you're watching something and then you just get like all these commercials and shit. So I just started buying like wrestling DVDs and shit again because they're fucking dirt cheap. Nobody's fucking buying them. The VHS tapes are expensive, but the DVDs are mad cheap. So I've just been steadily collecting them recently, and yeah, I mean it's just a better alternative. Like I don't know,
DVDs have anything cool in like the extras?
Yeah, they
menu?
got a commentary. This is when he drop kicked me in the face, and that wasn't part of the script, and I blacked out.
Yeah, you got like back interviews and shit because you can access all of these DVDs via the app, but you don't get the extras. So like those are just kind of lost on it,
I remember I used to go to a buddy's house. They were like really into like wrestling and stuff, and we'd go to like the local rental store, and they just had shelves of wrestling DVDs from like old WrestleManias. They just rent those constantly.
It says a buddy's house, like it wasn't his house.
Yeah. No, because we didn't have I think it was a California Video. Didn't have one of those near me. But I think he lived like kind of in your area, Evan, up that way. So but there used to be a California Video there. It's gone now, of course. Everything's gone.
California, Suncoast. There was a bunch up here.
That's where people used to rent the N64 systems from, and I assume they stopped doing that and then went out of business because people just stopped coming back with the systems. But that was it right there. There were so many of them too. So I'm just picturing Sean just like stacking shelves of like wrestling DVDs.
Well, I used to have a lot more, but no, I bought some. I kept getting some fucking ad for Gruv, GRUV. They sell like Blu-rays and DVDs, and they were doing like a big sale. And I didn't know if it was like a bootleg ghetto site or whatever it was, but I mean the price, it was like $5-6 for like Blu-rays and DVDs. So I was like, what the fuck? So I spent like $60. I ended up getting like 7 or 8 combination of Blu-rays and DVDs, and I was kind of like, maybe I should buy some more of these.
Going backwards.
So he's got to replace that game collection he sold with DVDs.
No, figures.
That's where
the
it's
figures
going.
hold the DVDs though.
No, dude, the figure shit's already getting out of control.
You can see them.
No,
back there.
No, that's nothing. You should see my fucking. I got to get this room done
because the overflow.
My kitchen table is fucking.
Want the wrestling channel where you're gonna like do the figures and
You've
stuff.
already converted it to your live channel. You got to bring it back.
I'm telling Wood. I'm like, look, we'll do the Patreon Nintendo. No, we rebranded as a wrestling show, and it's me and you, and we'll do it.
Pull that rug out from under all the fans. Be great.
Yeah. Hey, if I could get 1 month of the rev that shit made, I'd be happy as a clam.
There's a lot of DVDs there. Let's. We were talking about the Sony stuff with the. I'm curious what's going to happen the day that comes through for, because a lot of times when something gets delisted for a game, they just don't let you download it anymore, but you still keep it in your library.
It depends. I feel like there's a grace period where they do let you re-download, but like when generations change, like the Xbox Series, I can't download some of those old XBLA games that I purchased on my Xbox Series. They don't even exist. So, I mean, eventually they just kind of take them away. I feel like they just do it kind of under the table, so you don't even really know that's happened until you want to go back and play like Afterburner Climax again, and then you realize you can't without downloading a ROM on the internet.
It's got to be a background contract thing, because I feel like Steam's been through a couple things where you'd imagine that would happen, like with EA leaving them for a long time, but all the games that EA had on Steam stayed there. The EA couldn't pull them down. Steam was just like, no.
You can't play the original Titanfall though on Steam anymore.
Did they actually manage to pull it off?
Oh yeah, because I remember when I made a video on Titanfall, this was last year, I was trying to find a PC version of that game. I couldn't find it on Origin. I couldn't find it on Steam. I ended up buying a key from a shady Russian website.
Those are always the best.
And it actually worked. I was able to get it, but like it took a lot to actually get a copy of Titanfall.
Well, not to purchase it, you mentioned that,
but like Crysis was still accessible.
There's a couple other games. Try to find Transformers on PC. That one's real.
Oh yeah.
For Cybertron stuff. Those are like the best Transformers games. Can't find them. Alpha Protocol. Sean was talking about that like a month or two ago. And I remember I was looking around for it. They pulled it off of Steam, doesn't exist. You have to go to one of those weird websites to find it. So I just got it on the 360 for cheap. And I was looking, what's really interesting? We're talking about the games that didn't follow through generations. Nate and I were looking at the launch lineup for the 360. We were just kind of kicking around an idea about like a video on maybe the launch lineup for that system at one point. And I was looking up some of the games. What if I wanted to get some of these games because I have a Blade 360 system, right? We'll go back, we'll record. It'd be really cool. It'd be like nostalgia stuff there, right? Look up Need for Speed Most Wanted on the 360.
That's a launch title. Original, right? Yeah.
Yes. It is like $60 or $70 on the 360.
Yeah.
A lot of 360
wild.
Games. You know what's getting pricey? A lot of 360 wrestling games.
Well,
yeah, because they can't do anything with those, right? They can't make them backwards compatible.
Well, 360 is now the hot ticket. 360 and PS3 games in the retro collecting phase, because we've gone past NES and SNES and all that stuff. Now we're on the 360 and the PS3. Some of the rare games on those systems, the uncommon games on those systems. So it does.
Yeah, I looked up where I was like, I can't believe this is expensive. It was Need for Speed, and there was another one that because I'm like, I wonder what it would cost to. I figured it wasn't that expensive to buy the launch lineup because they're older 360 games, and it was like Madden is in there, Madden NFL 06. It's probably dirt cheap and stuff. There's something else that I looked up, and I was like, why is this? King Kong.
Well, that's a good game.
Look up how much that thing is on the 360. It's about that same price, but on the original Xbox, it's like $8 or something. Shit.
Well, yeah, I because it came out on the PS2, GameCube, Xbox, and the Xbox 360. So there was no PS3 version. That was the only like really good. I mean, it's a good game no matter what, but like the 360 version is like legit. Like it's actually a really good game.
Here it is complete, $55 on the 360.
Buy it, pussy. You got the money. I gotta pay for it back.
I was trying to figure out what basically it would cost to get the entire launch lineup, because I already have like half of those games here. They're like, what it would cost to fill in the collection for a video? And then it's like, wow, this is way more than I thought for 360 games. But that made me think about, now that we're seeing Sony, and these are just for videos and stuff, but because these games now follow us so much through generations, like I feel like whenever the PS6 game system comes out, we kind of expect PS4 games to work on that. I don't know, that's just me. I kind of expect it.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so, as long as they stay x86 and they don't move to ARM or something and do something silly. I think.
I feel like the store is going to follow us.
Yeah, I think so.
But then you run into issue of, you can't just say generations split this and we're just not going to port it, or it's just not going to be backwards compatible. That's why I feel like eventually some of these games that have rights attached to them like that, they're just going to have to just stop supporting. Like, hey, that was a PS5 game. That one just doesn't work on the new system. It's a weird thing that I feel like is going to come up eventually. Like we're seeing this with movies and TV and that sort of thing. There is no generation there. Eventually they just say, you know what, that's it. The rights agreement isn't up anymore. We're out. So have fun with all these games being pulled from your library that you paid for.
I think King Kong on the 360 also has a little bit more value because, do you remember the King Kong hack on the Xbox 360? The shader? No. That was the original. That was the original way that hackers found a way to bust open the 360 when it came out back in like 2006, or whenever the game came out. There was a shader that had some type of exploit on it, believe it or not, and they were able to get homebrew and like beat the hypervisor and make it like Microsoft ended up patching it later on, but it was the original way to hack the 360 before anything else had come out. So I do wonder if there's people that are kind of holding on to that for that reason. So check out the King Kong hack. There's some good info on that. I
have the kit for the one mod you told me, and I just got to muster up the courage to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The kamikaze one. Where you
should do it. Yeah, drill the hole.
Put a drill through the chip.
Yeah, you can do it. You're good with hardware. You'll make it work.
I get to use a drill bit on the 360. I feel like I need to know what I do after that. Like I'm good with that. I understand. I drill it, and then it's like, now what?
I think there's once you've done it, then you can flash the custom firmware on the drive, and once you do that, that's when you can just like burn backups and play backups off of it. So that's all you really need to do. But the question is, how do you know when it's done? But there were some kamikaze hack kits that came with like an LCD readout, and it would tell you, it says drill here, and then you would drill, and then it would say stop, and that's when you knew that you've done the job, right?
Mine has like a piece of paper that's like, all right, poke here so you know where to hit, and then go. That could be funny. Yeah, that could be funny. I was trying to do some more mods for different things. Like I was going to do one of the craziest Steam Deck mods. I just need one more piece for it. But I got some stuff I was working on for that. But that was one I realized I still have that. I came back across it the other day when I was going through some things for that DS mod that I did. And I was like, I should do this. I should drill through this chip.
Why not?
Let's do it. Why not? Let's get serious. Let's do it with the blade system. Then just go for it.
You want to ruin that.
Let's get serious for a minute. Get serious for a minute.
That blade system's a relic. It's an icon. You don't want to mess with that.
There's consequences here if you mess it up. Let's see. Well, I mean, it's digital age. That's why OJ's been saying get the physical copies. Physical copies, people. Physical copies until they're
one of the cool things
all gone.
about Switch owners buying physical a lot is that they're the only ones getting the Ace Attorney game.
I saw that. Yeah, they're gonna bring it over for Switch owners.
When people say it's pointless to buy physical, don't do it. Doesn't matter. Well, you're playing right into their hands. That's exactly what they want you to think. And then it's backed up by the research. It's backed up by the sales because everyone's just saying, oh, well, who cares? But Switch owners have held out. So therefore now they actually get a physical copy of a game that's not being physical anywhere else. I even think stuff like Return to Castlevania, the Dead Cells, the deal, I think that's not physical everywhere. I think it's physical on PlayStation and Switch, but there's certain stuff to where you see even more of it. So yeah, keep buying physical if you can, and you'll keep getting it.
Reach. Agree.
I do want to go over to some of the super chats here. We're going to follow up after that, though, with the Xbox CFO, who had quite a bit to say. Phil Spencer, I mean, coming in strong. He must be on the path to get MVG back on Reddit. I'm excited. And then we also have level 5 with some of their delays, and then Sony striking an interesting partnership. We go to some of the super chats here. There we go. This one is from Fawd, who says salute. Assume for the physical stuff. There we go. This is from the IRS, who says, looking for Gerard, the money Glubler, and Xbox tax. There you go.
Not wrong.
Snoopy says, MVG out here streaming from Area 15. He's about to say 51.
Nah, Blue Man Group.
This one's from the completionist who says, help me, I swear I'm innocent.
RGT's post not looking so bad now, though. That one post. you had everybody on your ass after that post.
It's just Sean on his sock accounts right now.
I'm joking too, by the way. I wasn't serious. I'm joking.
B says, getting a Steam Deck OLED. I already have all consoles. What games to get for Steam Deck that I can't play on console or can get a better experience than before? Well, I can tell you now, Batman Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight has a good one. You know what was I thought was pretty good was I was playing Tony Hawk, and that's 90 frames. Resident Evil 2 is 90 frames. Red Dead Redemption 2 wants me to sign in real bad, and the keyboard was all messed up on the virtual thing, so I couldn't play that. But I was playing quite a bit of Arkham City. That also runs at 90 frames. So there you go. If you got the OLED, take advantage of that higher refresh screen. Evan, what's the PC recommendation of the week for somebody who just got it?
RoboQuest. Play that. So
I have a recommendation because I got a code from my good friends at Night Dive. Turok 3 just came out.
Yeah, the Turok stuff came out, which is cool. But RoboQuest, because it's just a frantic shooter like Doom, but it's also a roguelite. So it's great.
They're asking about a game that's not on console. I will say Half-Life, the new anniversary update. If you have never played Half-Life, you need to. And the anniversary update actually did a lot to the game. So I recommend that. I mean, if you're on Steam Deck, you're there with Valve, and that's kind of where it started. So go check it out. Cristobal says, MVG, good work as usual on Retro Jurassic Park Collection. There it is. Did you also work on upcoming Shantae game? What are your guys' favorite indie game?
Shantae Advanced. That is a Carbon Engine release that will be coming out.
Oh,
yes,
very nice. Carbon Engine's putting in work. Jeez. And then what's your favorite indie game, MVG?
My favorite indie game. Ooh, can I say Baldur's Gate? No, I don't know actually.
It's obviously Dave the Diver.
I do like Hades. Hades is a really good one that I think about as an indie, and I love that game. Dead Cells. OJ was talking about that. Big fan of that. I'd probably say Hades. Honestly, it's probably my favorite indie game.
Most games from that company are really good. If you want to check out Bastion and Transistor and stuff like that, those are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Scar says, I lost the game. Casual Noob says, can Black Keely announce Spawncast brackets? We got to see Black Keely make the return in like a week or two. We'll see. We'll see what happens over there. V says, to clarify, Super Chat, I prefer RPGs. I don't care for first-person shooters. Truly Epic says, here's the big question for GTA 6. 60 FPS mode. I don't know. That's tough. I feel like this game is gonna push some visuals, so kind of feeling like Rockstar might just put it at 30 because we're still waiting for the Red Dead Redemption 2 patch, aren't we?
You don't think there's going to be a performance mode with this?
I mean, when GTA 5 first came out, they had no problem with that game running at like 20 frames per second.
Yeah, but remember, it came out on the 360 and the PS3. We're talking the most powerful console in the world, the Xbox Series X. Has to have a performance mode. PS5.
I'd like to think they have one lined up, but I'm still waiting for Red Dead Redemption 2 to get 60 FPS. I don't know. And Red Dead 2 does look incredible, but that's a game I would not mind to pull back on some of the visuals to get 60 on the consoles. Although we're to the point now where it gets 60 on PCs that are like decent enough, so maybe we can. CJ says, what game are you confident will a TGA that you're looking forward to seeing? Oh, that will be at the TGA. Well, now I'm thinking Virtua Fighter. So that to me seems locked in.
I wouldn't say it's locked in. We're talking about Sega here. Could be anything. I'm locking
it in. It's going to be Virtua Fighter DLC for Humankind.
I hope it's 3TB, but we're talking about Sega. It could be anything, man, honestly. It could be anything.
Sonic Fighters coming back, baby.
Could be.
Oh, gosh.
Could be. It's going to be the Chow Vipers. Now it's just Chow Garden. That's all it is.
Out of the three, though, Xbox is going to be there. They've already announced their presence. And maybe the I think it's time for Coalition to do something. Let's get serious. Let's get Coalition out there, showing off what Unreal Engine 5 can do. Let's announce Gear 6. Let's get it done. KC says, I've been watching Spawn Wave since 2020. You and other creators have inspired me to make my own YouTube channel. I'm already at 1,300 subs. Thank you. Wow.
Look at you. Good job.
Shout out to Casey.
Took me forever to get 100, let alone 1,300. So keep it up.
It took me a long time to get 1,000.
So go. Look, they got videos on Spider-Man, Infamous, Zelda, Metroid, Pikmin. Yeah. Shout out to Casey Deco. Good job. Then Hush says, if you buy a console physical game, if you need a day one update to make it playable, once the server shuts down, is it not the same?
No.
No, probably not.
No, because people keep on saying this, and I always find it ridiculous. Yes, there are some insanely large games, that where, there's big updates or whatever. But most games run just fine without a day one patch. You can just play the game, or even if there's some games that get revisions on their cartridges, so that has the update on there. But most of the Switch games, you can just play them. So it's not going to be the same as if it doesn't run at all. So I don't like this stop process, and people keep saying that, and I don't like it because it's not anywhere near true.
I do want to go over to the Xbox CFO, who seemed to have a lot to say, probably more than they should have said. This was just during, apparently it's a talk at Wells Fargo Summit. Sure. Anyway, Chief Financial Officer Tim Stewart spoke on all kinds of topics, talked about AI in more of a, as they said, co-pilot manner, because that's what they call their AI in Office 365. Copilot, more of a tool than a replacement.
It's good spin.
Yeah. Well, it looks like when I was looking at it just to see what exactly he was really describing. It looks kind of like ChatGPT built into Excel or built into like Word or something like that, or your calendar. It just pulls all the apps together, and you can say, hey, make a schedule that works for everyone's open time slots that they have in their Microsoft Teams, and the AI will develop a schedule for you for the week so that nobody's like times overlap or anything like that. So it tries to at least work all that in. But there were a few things that caught my eye, and I noticed a lot of people were discussing this. Sean, you made a video on it.
I did.
With the Game Pass stuff, but there was something that he mentioned, and I do wonder if Microsoft is working in this direction, and I really want them to. Stewart spoke about Game Pass and the company's move away from the years-old Xbox Live Gold program, which was really sad, by the way, in its like last year. I don't know if people looked at the games that were going to that service. It was bad. It was ugly at times. But it says, according to him, the switch was a result of the idea that paying for online multiplayer feels antiquated in the modern age. Instead of just paying for online, Xbox thought they could provide more value to players and give them access to dozens and dozens of games at the same time, which is the reason they did Game Pass Core, which is leaning more so on like they have like 27 or 28 games now that are just part of a smaller library. I almost wonder, the way he talks about antiquated to pay for online, if Microsoft will eventually make online multiplayer just free. Because they have cloud storage is free. You don't have to pay for that. It's just part of your account. I almost wonder if they're going to pull the trigger on that and say, you know what, online multiplayer is free, but we have Game Pass Core, and we have Game Pass Ultimate, and we have Game Pass PC.
I feel like it was antiquated when they decided to do it, right? Like there were other companies that already didn't do it, and we're like, what's happening here?
They did the Xbox Live thing back in the day for consoles, right? They were the ones who introduced the, at that time, $50 paywall to play online. They had voice, which was, I mean, we had that with the PS2 for things like SOCOM. I think the idea with the Xbox, they tried to make it so it was more readily available for more games, because there were a lot more games that used voice on Xbox than there were on PlayStation.
And the notion was they had their own server farms, so, you know, faster speed. But now they're just crossplay, so they're on everyone else's servers, and they're still making you pay for the online anyway. So
yeah, there's a lot of free-to-play games that you don't pay for online to play, and it's very strange, because it's on Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo. The free-to-play games are free to play online, but the paid-for games are not. It seems kind of weird, the whole thing. And then to go a little further with Xbox and Microsoft, thing that I think is tripping this whole thing up is they want PC gamers and Xbox gamers to be basically side by side, but only one pays for online multiplayer. And it looks really weird. So I kind of feel like by the end of this generation, so that's 2028, this is 2027, that's a while. I kind of feel like Microsoft is leaving that pay for multiplayer behind. And I think they're going to, which I want them to, because I'd like that to go away across the board. I'd like Nintendo to not, even though they just started doing it technically. So, well, there you go. But I like Nintendo and Sony to also be like, oh, I guess we're not going to do that anymore. But one of them's got to do it. And I kind of think the way they're talking about here, Microsoft might be the one in like 3 or 4 years if they get Game Pass to the right number. And the one that everyone was talking about, Tim Stewart says that Game Pass could be going, or he wants Game Pass as well as Microsoft plans going forward to get it basically everywhere, to get it to as many people as possible. And that also includes the idea of looking towards who they would consider competitors in the past. And they specifically named Sony and Nintendo. Well, they said PlayStation and Nintendo. They also mentioned GeForce Now, who they would also have seen as competitors with the cloud streaming stuff. And this sent off Xbox third party on Twitter like crazy. It was trending all over the place. Xbox going third party. And Sean, you made a video on this. You seemed confused at Microsoft's plans with their console.
Yeah, it's an interesting statement to make. But I mean, Phil has said similar things before, so it's kind of ironic for him to be like, all of a sudden, no, we wouldn't want to do that. And it's like,
well, here's the interesting thing about that, Sean. He says they have no plans to do it, right? When I hear that, I think, well, if Nintendo and Sony don't want it there, of course you don't have plans for it. It's because you're not
right.
There's a roadblock there. Doesn't mean maybe you couldn't, or you don't want to get it there. You can't. I've been trying to think of this for a while because people felt like it was like it's going to happen eventually. I'm trying to figure out what the benefit, I guess, is for Sony or Nintendo to have Game Pass on their system. Like, I don't know how that helps either of them.
Well, I mean, really, how would it? I think the bigger question is for like third parties, because if you get a system, you know, you get a PlayStation 5 and you have all those Sony exclusives, and then you also have Game Pass, like that's pretty attractive. Same thing with the Switch. But yeah, you would have to get like so many people involved in it and so many companies involved in it that it just seems like not realistic.
Yeah, I feel like if I was Sony or Nintendo and I heavily rely on just selling games outright to people and selling them in droves, like for like Nintendo, obviously they heavily rely on selling 20 million copies of a game that's big for them, right? Just like, okay, we're selling 20 million of Zelda. There you go. That's a big move for us. If you take a service that you collect maybe 30% of for some of these subscription fees, but then it keeps people from buying so many games on your platform, I feel like that would end up working out in the negative for them in the long run. And maybe that's why they wouldn't want to necessarily jump into that right away. There'd have to be, I think, a colossal shift in just the gaming economy or the way it's all set up between consumers and these companies to where they would want to make that happen and make that move. I feel like the fact that Nintendo they're not even interested in doing anything outside of what they do, the game trials. They don't give people games necessarily like that other than here's a Nintendo 64 game. Like they're not saying, hey, here's a third party Switch game you get to just keep. They're not even at that point. So
right.
The Game Pass thing, Microsoft's trying, but I don't really know why it would show up on PlayStation or Nintendo in the next, I'll even say 20 years. I think they just got to make their moves themselves, which there were some stats that were released. I saw today. The Xbox Series is tracking behind the Xbox One technically right now in terms of console sales from the data that we have publicly available to us. That seems like an issue.
Yeah, that's a pretty big issue. But I think also Microsoft's, I understand their strategy, but like this whole, we don't care about console sales and, you know, like I think they'd probably get more Game Pass subscribers if they sell more consoles. So, I mean, I get what they're trying to say. And I think that they're trying to take pressure off of the team and, you know, having that negative, you know, whatever with console sales, because like that stuff gets super toxic. But at the same time, like, I really hope that they've got a good plan, not just here's Game Pass and like here's some games, you know, like, or this game's going to Game Pass. Because I think people are starting, like the subscription bubble is bursting a little bit, right? People, you got to also think about it's not just gaming. People have all sorts of subscriptions, right? And I think that a lot of casual gamers just group everything together, and a lot of casual gamers don't want to sit at their computer desk or sit at there and like play like a million different games. Like they just play their Madden, they play like maybe a Call of Duty, maybe a couple other games, like if like a Batman comes out or something. So they're not really sitting there trying to, you know, switch between a million games on a service. So I don't think they misread the market, but I think that they misread how many people actually care about having a bunch of games on a service that they don't have the time to play, because most people do not have the time or do not want to spend the time sitting there going through everything that Game Pass offers. They just don't. So I don't know.
I would look at Game Pass as a good, like if I was like, you know, when I was a kid and we were playing Super Nintendo, N64, that stuff, Game Pass would be amazing. I think that's one of the biggest things is to market it to parents as like, hey, you buy this, you pay it monthly, and your kids get all these games. That's kind of the way I look at Game Pass. But also I look at it as the ideal way to try out games or play games I wouldn't really have been buying otherwise. So certain games will go to Game Pass that I go, okay, good, I skipped out on that, I'll play it here. Like I feel like a lot of people with PlayStation Plus played Saints Row when they weren't going to buy it, and there were engagement numbers that backed that. So that's kind of the way I look at Game Pass is you play it day one if you want, and then you wait for a sale and buy it physically if you really like the game.
But it's not translating into a bunch of people saying, okay, let's buy an Xbox for this.
Oh, right.
Microsoft is banking with that, right? And like, it's just not translating to people saying Game Pass, killer app. now I want to go get an Xbox. And that's what the Xbox Series S was for specifically, right? You know, all digital, just a Game Pass box, and it's not tracking well. So I hope they can turn it around. Like, I hope that next year they've got more first-party games. They've got some titles that can actually be like, you know, in the Game of the Year running, like Hellblade. I think stuff like that's going to, like, I think those are going to be the ones that really help out Game Pass. You got to get the quality of games, you know, like better as well. So,
I mean, let's be real. Do they have to go back to the old days where they were just pulling exclusives all over the place for their console and I guess technically PC for Windows at this point? Do they got to get like cutthroat with it to get the Xbox back on track?
I think they just need to have better quality exclusives. I think if you bring out better quality exclusives, I mean, Hi-Fi Rush is great, but you know, like a bigger game, you bring out like, you know, Starfield's good, but you know, that's, no, it's not like it's bad. It helped out, right? But if you have like maybe 3 or 4 Starfields, like a game that has like the impact of that or somewhere near that, I think that's when you start seeing, you know, positive momentum for Xbox console sales and Game Pass like subscriptions. But there just has to be a bit more than, you know, just like Starfield was like the big game, right? That probably like drove momentum for them at one point. I think that was pretty much the only, like, I think it was just Starfield, right, this year. I don't know how did Forza do.
Phil Spencer's recently announced, this was just going around today, that Starfield touched the 12 million mark for actually, I guess that'd be logins or players or what have you. I guess he didn't say sales, so it has reached at least that.
Activations, I believe, is the word, right?
Thank you. Yep, activate. Okay, so basically, yeah, 12 million people have at least in some way gotten a hold of the game, whether it's through Game Pass or buying it on Steam or the collector's editions, what have you. So that is probably their biggest single player game that they've had in, I don't even know how long. I mean, a lot of the stuff with like Forza, obviously it's multiplayer, Halo's multiplayer, but for just a strictly single player perspective, it's probably that, you know? So
yeah,
maybe like Avowed could be really good.
Yeah.
Hellblade 2. I'm expecting Hellblade 2 to be very good.
Yeah, if they can get a couple of those that really kind of show the value of and it's Xbox, PC, and you know, you have the PC market too, so you know, you can drive subs on there. So if you get 3 or 4 of those a year, I think that's when you start seeing something. But it can't just be, oh well, you get to play, you know, Remnant or whatever. That's a great game, but that's not going to deter people from buying a PS5 and like God of War Ragnarok and Horizon, like the big exclusives that they have on there. And then of course, just Sony's marketing, just Sony's brand loyalty is just really strong, you know? Nintendo and Sony just have really strong brand loyalty in addition to having like big exclusives that can sell 10 million plus. So I think that's what they're dealing with right now, you know? So
get the coalition. Wheel them out on stage. Let's do it.
Gears, I think Gears is Gears 6. That would be a big driver too. I think that would be huge because it's been a while since the last like new Gears game. Like people are excited to see what's next with that franchise, especially on the Xbox Series. I think that'd be huge. So yeah, get Gears out.
Hey,
get Hellblade out. Get Avowed out, and it's different. You know, things will be different.
Colt Eastwood said Gears 6 and was coming at the Game Awards.
The Xbox Revision.
The Xbox Revision.
Oh. The digital. I'm curious if that is still on the table because they were talking. Phil Spencer was talking like things changed. So I don't know. I bet you that controller could be there at the Game Awards. I feel like they need it. That controller.
Honestly, John, I'd be very surprised if Xbox announced any new hardware at the Game Awards. I think we'll see games. I think there's definitely some game announcements, but I don't think there's any hardware announcements.
Okay. How about Hellblade 2 release date, Gear 6, controller? That's it.
I can see Hellblade 2 release date. I can't see Hellblade. I can't see Gear 6, and I definitely can't see a controller.
Oh.
I could easily see a controller.
What kind of hype would a controller announcement be?
Hey, they're good at controller releases.
It'll be a Hellblade controller and then just a random color.
Yeah, they sent me one that like does the pizza smell stuff. They come up with all kinds of controllers over there. Come on. Someone's in a Gears collection. It'd be fine too. Something like that I think would be cool. I would just like to see what the Coalition's working on because they're very talented and I feel like they're gonna do some crazy stuff with visuals. And if it's Gears, hey, I'm here for it.
So, John, let's talk about this for a second. Earlier this year, Xbox had a developer direct. Remember that? And it was a very successful little showcase.
Yeah.
You think that that Coalition is going to show something at the Game Awards rather than a developer direct? I think whatever Xbox has in store for us next year is going to be at the developer direct, other than Hellblade 2, because I think Hellblade 2 started its trajectory at the Game Awards, and I think it will get a date and kind of bookend it at the Game Awards. But I would be surprised if we saw anything from
I feel like you make a splash at the Game Awards with something, even if it's like a 30-second teaser, and then you go to the developer direct and you show what you want to show. Like, I take advantage of that very much heavily US based viewership for the Game Awards, and just you can even show like a small snippet or something, and then just hit the logo or hit Coalition or something, and then say tune in coming early 2024 or something for presentation or developer director, what have you, or tune in then. Just a way to get people like, oh, okay, there's something's happening here. But I would like there to be a big developer direct with the Coalition basically anchoring the whole thing. That'd be cool to go to like Coalition Studio and see all that kind of stuff coming together. That'd be fun. I'd be here for that. That'd be cool. So I feel like Xbox is going to do at least something fairly large at the Game Awards. I just don't know what it is. I don't think it's that revision though, the console. Too soon.
Too early.
Too soon. Do want to point out though that MVG is gonna be allowed back on Reddit. You say you're allowed back on Reddit. I haven't seen you post on Reddit. I don't know.
Well, first of all, I don't use Reddit ever.
Yeah, that's more for health than anything else.
I don't go to Reddit ever. So let's be clear on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Phil
apparently
Spencer.
I'm back on there.
So Phil Spencer's asked about the IPs that they have that they're sitting on. Specifically, it was like Activision ones. Obviously, they just absorbed a ton of them. And I know people on the panel were like, "Oh, Guitar Hero, who wants that?" Hey, people seem to want Guitar Hero, so they seem pretty aware of that. But like, StarCraft, obviously, that stuff like that's talked about. Banjo came up though. And Phil said he hears people. He hears the Banjo fans.
Wow.
Banjo-Kazooie. He hears them. Sean.
Wow. Good old PR speak. Like, cool. I hear you. I hear just like Reggie used to say about Mother. Yeah, I hear you guys. I hear you.
Oh, man. There's the Mother 3 talk now, man.
Let's wait and see if they are going to make a Banjo. I hope they are, but
okay. How long you want to give MVG on this? How long you want to give him? What kind of runway he's got still?
It needs to be announced by next year. If it's not announced by next year, then it was just
all right. Well, let's put a pin in it, and then let's put a pin in it, and then we'll revisit the topic in.
Okay, so if it's announced next year, but it doesn't come out to like 2026,
just say 8. Just.
I mean, when was Perfect Dark announced? Let's talk about that for a second.
Around Metroid Prime 4, I think, or
I mean,
it was the Game Awards.
It was 2020 or 2021.
It might have been 2020.
And
I feel like it was 2020.
When do we think Perfect Dark's coming out? 25 at the earliest?
Oh gosh.
And I'm being very generous too.
2020 Game Awards. Yep, 3 years ago. Wow, 3 years. December 10th, 2020 is when it was announced. It's almost the 3-year anniversary of that trailer. And that's the only thing we've ever seen of Perfect Dark.
Mass Effect too. Wasn't that like 3 years ago?
Yeah, that clip that they had. Yep.
They gave us a teaser the other day.
Dying, man. I'm dying.
They gave us a teaser.
Oh,
they went up like an elevator or something.
I'm dying. Please, I need some Mass Effect.
I think Banjo's coming someday. It's gonna happen. Banjo, maybe a remake, or do they just maybe a new one? Banjo 3. I don't know. Well, the thing is, he did at least explain the situation. Like, we got to find somebody to make the game. That seems to be their hang up, which, to be fair, they've been saying that about Killer Instinct for a long time, and they legitimately brought back Iron Galaxy to do it. So, and that was just an anniversary update.
If only they had access to Rare, then, it wouldn't. Oh.
So, the thing with Rare, and this has come up multiple times, I'll bring it up again here. Rare is just not. It's just not the same.
Well, yeah, no shit. Banjo, it's over 20 years since Microsoft acquired them.
There's a new hermit crab in that shell.
So they just don't have the people to do it necessarily in Rare, and they seem content with Sea of Thieves and whatever Everwild. That should be the real question. What was Everwild announced?
Microsoft does not care about Banjo and Kazooie. If they actually cared, they would find a team that knows how to make a platform.
Well, I think they found a team. I think they found one.
It took them 20 years to find a team. Like
I think it took them a while. I do. I think it took them a while.
This is insane to make a platformer.
OJ, I disagree with you. I mean, they put it on Smash Brothers. I mean, they do care about Banjo, but I think the point is, it's like, who can actually make a Banjo game? And right now, I mean, it seems like, it's still something that we're not really sure about what's going on. I do think they care about Banjo.
15 years, Banjo nuts and bolts.
I guess this is like the tough love care, right? Like it's that type of care, right? Where because it's been like how many years? Yeah, over a decade plus. So I mean, if that's what care is, okay, I guess.
I mean, when was the last 2D Metroid game?
We had but for Dread, it was like
but like they made Samus Returns. Like they actually made something, and they made Federation Force. People just didn't like it.
Oh God.
Or they actually made some stuff.
Not Federation Force.
Yeah, but I mean oh my God! Like they made Samus Returns, and they made what's it called? So they made some. What has been for Banjo? Has there been any crappy Banjo games that we can play even in 15 years?
Ukulele.
I guess you could also look at the time between Metroid Prime 3 and now 4. That's when did 3 come out? Was that 3? Was that 2008? I feel like we're like 15 years on that. Then
Microsoft has made one Banjo game since they acquired them. One.
That's it.
One. They've made one Banjo game.
Who made Nuts and Bolts again? It was Rare and hold on.
I don't find that as caring personally, but I see what MVG's saying because Banjo wasn't Smash, and there's no way Banjo comes to Smash without them even, having some type of affinity for the character. So I mean, I understand that, but I don't know. It just doesn't look too good.
Rare was the developer for Nuts and Bolts. There was no one else.
Yeah, it was. I was looking at the designer and writer for it.
Kirkhope and kind of the OGs, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was looking to see what the writer and they're also still doing Everwild, the writer or designer. The thing that's weird to me with this is you mentioned MVG that Banjo is in Smash. I mean, that takes time to do, but it seems strange that you wouldn't be like, oh, Nintendo kind of wants Banjo in Smash. We should do something with that, because that might have been the opportunity. I mean, I feel like people are still thinking Banjo right now. Like, oh, that'd be really cool if you got the reveal. There'd probably be a lot of people who aren't necessarily playing Xbox right now who would look at that and be like, oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe I should check that out. I feel like that moment, though, in time where Banjo was announced for Smash was probably one of the biggest, probably the biggest in that franchise's history, right? It was right then and there. And it's just strange they didn't have anything ready to go for that. Not even like a remaster, remake, mention anything. It's very weird. But I think Phil said that for a reason. I think there is a Banjo game someday.
I hope so.
Just not for a while, I think. I think it's still...
I'm not like a huge Banjo fan either, so if they don't want to make it, whatever.
I think it's still years off. I'd love to see it. I think it'd be a good variety for their service too. Like, people made fun of Super Lucky's Tale a lot. That game was great. At least a competent platformer, competent 3D platformer. Yeah.
I liked Super Lucky's Tale. I think that was really good.
I think people looked at it like this should just be Conker's Bad Fur Day. And it was like the before they turned Conker M-rated. But I feel like there is a place for those kinds of, like, that's the whole point of Game Pass, right? Is to enable games that you wouldn't necessarily put a AAA budget on to sell maybe on the shelf, to put into Game Pass and be like, hey, we can have these creative ideas and outings. And I think a 3D platformer like that, if you're not Nintendo, it falls under that category for like an Xbox or a Play, especially like, I mean, look at PlayStation right now with that. They're not doing anything with Sly Cooper or Jack, nothing there. I feel like this would be a good thing for Xbox to do for that kind of diversity in Game Pass. I don't know if I put it next to a Pentiment, maybe a tier above that, but I feel like they can just kind of have some fun with it. Make a Banjo game, put it out, see if you get some signups from it. Just not like nuts and bolts. Go back to the core.
A remake of the first and second game, like Spyro did.
Just another collectathon.
Like the Reignited.
Yeah. And just like add some stuff to maybe some new levels and some stuff, but just I think that'd probably be okay if they did something like that.
Yeah, they could do that. And I wouldn't mind seeing them tackle a third one, Banjo 3E, just call it a day or whatever. I don't know.
I think that they don't have a team and it's tough and and all this other stuff. So I mean, I guess that might be a bit easier if you already work off of
Well, now they have the team. I mean, they got Toys for Bob. They could do it now if they want.
Aren't they like stuck in Call of Duty hell?
It's time to break them out of Call of Duty jail. It's time. Break them out.
You remake or you redo the original Banjo games, Banjo 1 and 2E, and then you get a sense of what the sales and the enthusiasm is for the game, and then if it does well, then you go all in on a new game. I think that's the way to do it. Banjo's been gone for such a long time. You have to test the waters. You can't just go crazy on a new one. And I think, honestly, that's what they're doing with F-Zero 99 right now. Like, F-Zero 99 is one of the reasons why I feel like maybe there is a new F-Zero game, that they're thinking about now that F-Zero 99 has done so well. But you can't just go in and make like a new F-Zero game. I think they're just putting their feet in the water to see what what it's like.
Do you think, MVG, that reaction to Banjo and Smash, I almost wonder if that caught Xbox, I don't say off guard, but like, oh, wow, okay. People do remember Banjo. That was crazy when that got announced.
Yeah.
It trended in Japan. Xbox did.
It was pretty hype. I mean, I'm not the biggest Smash fan. In fact, I'm not really much of a Smash fan at all. So I don't really know which one the biggest hype annament was. OJ can probably speak to that better. Yeah, it was probably Sora, right? But I remember Banjo was pretty hype.
It was all Steve.
The Banjo announcement was pretty hype. I remember.
Oh yeah.
It kind of
saw the puzzle piece, the Jiggy go by, and they lost their mind.
Kind of came from nowhere, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is awesome!"
So Banjo was huge. Sora was really big too because people really like Sora. So
there's a lot of history to that though for like decades.
Yeah, there is because Sora has been requested for the longest time.
I would have thought Sephiroth was the biggest one.
Sephiroth was pretty big too. That was pretty hype for a lot of people.
Yeah, Sephiroth was awesome. That was like one of my favorite announcements was Sephiroth.
But I think it's set up for them. They just got to pull it off. So, got to find the team. They have it. They just got to break them out of Call of Duty jail. So,
getting out of Call of Duty jail, one way or another.
Let the Activision studios let them do their thing over there. Get out of Call of Duty.
We're not the ones who are making all the money with Call of Duty. So if you're looking at it from Activision, or the other one's like, well, yeah, make a Banjo and make like $5 million, or keep making Call of Duty and make like $1 bazillion in like a second.
Yeah, I mean, to be real, if gamers ran any of these companies, they'd probably be out of business in 2 years. Like, we don't put them out of business. It would be bad, it'd be ugly, but hey, we get some cool games for those 2 years.
It's a balance, right? That's really what it comes down to. You have to balance, what you want and what needs to happen.
Yeah, still, we'll see. I'd like to see some creativity out of that Activision side now that Microsoft owns them, but I guess we'll see. Let's move over. Level 5 had their their vision. That's what they call their direct style presentation. This, I feel like everything kind of does now, but this spurred up some Switch 2 discussion with Deca Police and Professor Layton. It appears Professor Layton is slated now for 2025. Deca Police, they said post 2024, which is a weird phrasing. I feel like
they corrected.
I guess it's just 2024 now.
Yeah, just 2024.
2024, which I have to assume is like holiday 2024 or something.
Yeah, because the Fantasy Life is summer and Megaton is April.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be more fallish.
This to me lines up as at that point you may as well just, if we are expecting Nintendo to have their new system in we'll say fourth quarter of 2024. You might as well line it up for a launch title.
If I was level 5, I would do the exact same thing. I mean, you could just launch it on PS4, PS5, and standard Switch, but you're so close. And new console hype is just good for sales. It's going to make Deca Police sell way better on the Switch too, just because that game's already. And I don't know how much PlayStation people are even interested in that game overall, but I know that it's going to do well when it comes to at least what Nintendo fans are thinking.
Interesting about this, Ubisoft mentioned that Nintendo suggested to them that they hold off Sparks of Hope for the next system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's something that would have happened here with Level 5 or Nintendo would have suggested that for a new IP, but it is interesting to see them kind of move it and then sort of be, I don't want to say like kind of vague on the release date for it, because they're still saying they're like originally post 2024. Okay, kind of 2024 now. The events are interesting here because this was supposed to come out. It was supposed to be out now, basically 2023. Deca Police. All of a sudden, it's like, well, now it's maybe a year out. Oh yeah, that Nintendo system might be there too. We'll see. I don't know. It seems, after hearing what Ubisoft said for Sparks of Hope, it is. I get why people are wondering if they delayed it to try to be there for a launch of a really exciting system that's going to get a lot of hype behind it. Let's be real. From what the Switch has been able to do in its life and how many people have purchased it, there's going to be a lot of eyes on that system when it launches.
Yeah.
So why not be one of 12 launch games or something?
They also showed more like concepts for the game. So they're going to have another like direct in April. And they showed like they're actually fleshing things out more, because if you watch the Tokyo Game Show footage, it was the city, like they really just kind of sectioned it off, and it didn't seem like it was going to be like very dense or with more population. And they specifically stated they wanted to make it more interesting. They wanted to put in new locations that just wasn't the city. Like there's other areas. So it does seem like it's like a twofold thing. Like they want to make the game better in addition to also potentially having it on the next system as well.
Well, we'll see what they do with that. I'm curious. April is their next. Their level 5 vision. I almost wonder if that would be in Nintendo's new fiscal year. I almost wonder if Nintendo has mentioned their next system by then at all, and if they all of a sudden have a logo for it on their next trailer for this new system. But see how that plays out when we get into next year. And I do have Sony with their NC Soft partnership. The reason I put this down is because we just talked about Xbox and their third-party aspirations, apparently. Sony kind of doing something similar here. They're looking for a partnership here with NC Soft. They've made it official. This, by the way, was part of a rumor from earlier this year where NC Soft was apparently developing a Horizon MMO. This is, I guess, one that would be slated for phones and PS5, I guess. So this is kind of interesting because we talk about PC and PlayStation 5 releasing day and date potentially. We could get to a point where it's releasing on the phone and on the PS5 day and date. Almost like they're looking to kind of cash in for Evan. What's the game you've played?
Oh, wait, which one are you talking about? The Genshin crowd thing? Or?
Genshin, thank you. Yeah. Genshin Impact. That's on phones and on PlayStation 5. And is incredibly popular, incredibly successful.
In a lot of foreign markets, phone is superior. So if you don't have something on a phone, you're not going to make as much money.
Yes. So Microsoft is making a big push for their own mobile market as well. Xbox Mobile apparently is a thing right now that's happening internally, and we'll probably see that revealed. Maybe that's the Game Awards announcement. Jeff did say there's something new and unusual there. Maybe it's Xbox Mobile.
It's all phone they're making trailers. That's all it is.
They're making a push for that. This partnership, I think, lines up with that as well for Sony. So I don't know. It's PC and PlayStation 5 now. Phones and PS5. They also have Savage Game Studios is working on phone adaptation of their games. Sony kind of making their own play as the different systems, just not necessarily putting stuff on Nintendo or Xbox in that way. Unless that will be the show. Let me go over to. I saw some more super chats. Let me see. Let me pull them up. The Gaming Trudge says, MVG, thoughts on more rare games on NSO? RGT for the win.
Well, I am very, very excited to see Jet Force Gemini make an appearance on NSO. And look, I mean, I think the door is now open for potential other games. So I'm very happy to see it.
Then we have Elio says, "Hey, great show. When is the Spawn Wave turn-based RPG going to release? Each of the team have a specific personality, and that game would be fire."
I think it'd be better as a side-scroller beat 'em up.
Yeah, when do we get our own game? When does that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to the
AI that's going to easily make
angry
it.
video game there. Let them know.
Somebody ask AI to build us a game. Apparently, just type it in and it'll be done, right? Something tells me it's a little harder than that. I don't know. MVG.
I mean, you say
what's with that Carbon engine? Does that Carbon engine make us a game?
Carbon AI.
No.
Oh, can't make us a turn-based RPG.
But let's talk. I'll tell you my rate after the show, and
okay.
We'll go from there.
Okay. All right. Jorge says, "What do you think of Atoy's reasoning of why Mother 3 hasn't had an official translation?" MVG, what do you think of the idea that Nintendo was offered the fan translation and they said it wasn't as simple as that?
I think there's probably more to that story that we don't know much about. When we say Nintendo, are we talking about someone at NOA that looked at it and said, "This is really cool. We love this," or we're talking about NCL that actually took a look at it? Because I feel like if it was just someone that worked at NOA, some type of producer that said, this is great, we love this, that doesn't necessarily mean that Nintendo was ever considering, making it an official translation. So I think there's a little bit more context that's needed there before we can make those types of assumptions.
I don't understand the reasoning for this game. Just
me either. Like
this is so weird and stupid, in my opinion.
I don't get it either, to be honest. I think it's just one of those things where because we don't have it, people want it. But once people get it, it's like, okay, now we have it. But it's,
I mean, you can already play it, and it's translated. So if you really want to, it's just like the fact that it's just not officially like on your Switch or something, right? Or on the Wii U. People were saying it Wii U or 3DS, or because it's been going on for how long now, right? It's been like multiple Nintendo systems.
They released on the Wii U in Japan as like a virtual console thing, but that's all it is. It's just that people want it recognized, they want it officially released, and you know what? Nintendo is probably like, how many people are going to buy this thing if we actually do that? Is it worth all the stuff that goes into? Apparently there's copyright stuff with the music, there are themes that'll probably get them in trouble on social media. There's a lot of stuff in this game that's like when they can put out a 2D Mario game and probably sell 20 million copies, it's like, priorities, I guess. But I don't know. Taking the fan translation, there's probably stuff involved there too, where they're like, well, we can't really take your work necessarily. I don't think translating it is the part that's holding it up. Is what I'm thinking. I think that's the easy part for them to figure out. This is from Future Millionaire. Says, "Evening, gentlemen. Am I the only one who, the older I get, the more annoyed I get with so much text and dialogue in video games? Do you guys skip through them too? Physical media for life."
Depends on the game. Depends on the game.
Sean, explain your frustration with Horizon.
Well, it's then the second one. Aloy just talks way too damn much. Like everything's a full-on conversation. And it's like, to me, it felt like the gameplay was interrupting the conversation. So to me, I got annoyed with that. But certain specific games, no, as long as the pacing is good and stuff, and I love Metal Gear games, so it sounds kind of ridiculous that I would feel about, but I just the story in Horizon never really was like gripping to me, whereas a Metal Gear game, it is very gripping. So it depends on the game, depends on the individual.
Probably my fault. I recommended Horizon Forbidden West to Sean, and then he sent me a video of him screaming at his TV, hitting X over and over and over. Sorry, cross over and over and over again, because they wouldn't stop talking. So I do that a lot. I recommend Sean a game, and then it backfires completely, and I get a message of something getting yelled at. So, which now I'm realizing there's another game that there's a lot of talking, and I was like, well, we should play this, and that's not going to work.
What game?
I'm realizing this now. I can't say the game.
Why?
This is NDA stuff. I'm realizing, I'm just now thinking of it off the top of my head. Although,
does it involve a word that you're not supposed to say on YouTube?
Yeah, I'll just say everybody's leaking this thing all over the place anyway, but I'm one of the good ones who's not gonna do that. So.
No, that can't. No, I'm not really interested in that game.
I had a realization and an epiphany as I was going through it, and I'm like, this is not gonna work for multiplayer, for not anything with the quality of the game, nothing like that, but like for Sean. I had flashbacks to you screaming at your screen, pressing a button over and over again with Horizon.
Well, I mean, if it's an interesting story that captivates me, then it's different. But
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
I mean, it ain't gonna be, a Batman game. So now it's already knocked down a peg on the superhero tier for me.
This is from Huddy.
Sean doesn't commit over the game.
This is from Huddy, who says Gerard was just donating to the human fund. Oh, thanks. And this is from Liam. It says, can't companies make certain physicals just not work too? Physicals just not work too.
That would have to be through, if I understand, through an update with the system.
Oh, right. Yep.
Well,
yep,
I mean,
okay.
the Switch has a ton of physical games that immediately download from the store, and if there's nothing to download from, then yeah, they can make it not work anymore.
That. Yeah, that's true. If they just cut off wherever it's coming from, downloading from, yeah, that's true.
But you can just not take the system online, or you can just keep it offline, or just
Hi says, do you remember then Origins came out, there was a game-breaking bug where you couldn't finish the game? I remember WB saying, okay, we are done with support. I don't think they ever fixed that bug. Did they not? They didn't fix that bug.
Arkham Origins?
Yes.
I never experienced it, so I'm not sure.
There you go. Spyro says, MVG, we all know you're helping develop Sly Cooper 5. It's okay, just admit it.
Hey, you got me.
There it is. Daniel says, good stream lads. Let's hope gaming gets better over the next few years. Buy physical. Gaming is pretty good this year, though. I don't know for releases, but
I know. I heard all the big gaming Twitter accounts are telling me how bad it was.
I know. Well, the releases were good.
What accounts were those?
The releases were good.
The usual suspects. You'll see them in the crowd at the Game Awards.
Who?
Will they be the ones running up on stage and just yelling and stuff?
No, they'll be the ones that are cheering for everything.
He's got added security this time. He'll be all right, Jeff.
I want to see someone get shoulder tackled. That'd be the only reason.
I want to see someone get shot, like
live on game.
Yes. Bro,
everyone gets struck.
You don't know if this motherfucker has a knife or a bomb on him or something like that.
True. I mean, we live in America. Enough people get shot, dude. So I mean, we don't need to see another person get shot.
Nah, bro. You run up on that stage, you should be shot. That's
just
my opinion.
Sniper from off stage.
Don't shoot to kill, but shoot him in the leg or something. Then they'll fucking
but then lawsuits follow.
Sean Taylor died. The NFL player died of getting shot in the leg. You can die from being from being shot.
Yeah, but not you have it's a less chance.
I'm just saying.
Like how people are like disgusted by that opinion. Yeah, go if it was your fucking father or mother on stage, if somebody ran up there with a knife, fucking A, man. Y'all don't live in the real world.
You assume they have good relations with their parents,
right?
let me
people missing their fathers at some point, based off of some of the stuff I've seen. So
let me go over to some of the Spawncast questions that are submitted over on the Discord on the Spawncast network. This one was from Dan, who says, RGT85, are you planning any more retro reviews like the one you did for Super Mario Land 2?
Oh, on the second channel. Yeah, I'll do some more of those.
Oh, okay. Good.
How many views did it get?
I have no idea. I didn't look.
I feel like those retro ones do pretty well for you on that channel.
Depends on the game.
Gaming Troge says, RGT, how much will chat have to pay to have someone edit all your after show stories in one video?
Oh, God.
That might get you in trouble.
Yeah, that'd probably get me in trouble.
Let me see this one. I'm gonna pick another one. David says, throwing back a bit to the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection, why would Nintendo, or any company for that matter, artificially limit the sales potential of a particular game by only producing a limited amount of the product? What is the strategy there? People say that a lot for artificial demand, but with something like Mario 3D, they actually had quite a few of those because it took a while for them to run out to where they are now. But for artificial demand, it's more for the systems trying to get people hyped to try to get more of them. That's what people believe. For games, I don't know. The game thing is software is where you make your money. So I don't know. That one doesn't make a lot of sense to me when that comes up. Let's see. I will pick one more. Next Gen Friend says, do you tend to like first or third party games more? First party or third party?
Like for all companies or
across the platforms? Like if you took all the first party games that exist on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, put them on one side, and then all third party games that exist and put them on the other, which side do you go with?
Oh,
third party.
I would probably pick first party.
And you can. That's first. I like creativity.
I'm trying to think.
It's a tough question.
Third party, I feel like is just a much larger.
It's a much larger pile of games.
Yeah, you got way more. But like,
different
what do you
personally?
Yeah, like what do you personally like? What are your favorites? That's tough. Like separating like what are your like absolute favorites from like just like the variety that you have. Like I love Batman. Batman Arkham City is incredible. Like I like it as much as like first party games. You know.
That is tough. Just the amount of just the amount of third party games. It's hard to argue. Like don't just go with that.
I just can't live without like my Smash and all that. Like that's my thing.
Is your issue here, John, that Halo is technically a first party?
Yeah, Halo's technically a first party. That's tough for me. That's why I'm like hedging a bit. Because third party is just overwhelming the amount of titles.
Yeah.
We had fun in Bad Company.
I feel like I'd have to go third party because I could probably find something else for online multiplayer. I'd probably go third party just because there's so many games. And I mean, who knows? You never know. One of these companies can go third party like a Sega out of nowhere. So it could happen.
What do you mean first party?
First party company could go third party at any moment. So never know.
And a third party could maybe go first party, John.
Oh, and then they go back. Sega could be. Are you trying to hint at something, Sean? What's happening at the Game Awards next week?
What's that dude always Sega Spartan?
Hey, Sega's they sent out postcards. They hint in the Dreamcast 2. Is that coming back at the Game Awards?
Well, what are you talking about, John?
I'm just putting the pieces together here, MVG.
There's no Dreamcast 2.
Hey, Jeff did say something that's unique, and maybe he's talking about the Dreamcast Mini that's getting unveiled.
That's not
maybe
unique.
he's talking about
so
Dreamcast guy.
Yeah.
YouTube.com. He comes out.
Are
on
you doing
stage.
the after show, Sean?
Yeah, I'll do it for a little bit.
All right, good. People can come yell at you there. Let me go around here. Let's start with OJ. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, you can find me right here on YouTube, Player Essence. Got some cool stuff coming up on the channel. Just talked about Dragon Quest Monsters, The Dark Prince, because there's literally no reviews, and everyone hates my reviews. So go in the comment section and go hate on that review, because I'm getting a lot of hates on that.
Go for it.
Like
Burn him down. Tell him how you feel.
So I haven't had a chance to really give any solid opinion on it.
Yeah, go check out my review of the game. I made a mistake with the multiplayer, and people got mad at that in the comparison to Pokemon. So go yell at me and dislike the video there.
Yeah.
I got a Batman video coming up. What'd you say, Sean?
Views of you.
Yeah,
views of it's doing well view wise. It's definitely doing well views wise.
All that matters. Likes and dislikes ain't paying the bills.
But I got Batman video coming up. I got also Naruto. I'm putting the finishing touches on that, and then the Black Keely special will be next week. So if you want to laugh at myself and everybody else here, check that out on the channel Player Essence. So thanks for having me on, John. I appreciate it.
Let's see. We got MVG.
You can find me on YouTube at Modern Vintage Gamer. I have a video today about the terrible performance of Batman Arkham Knight on the Switch, so check that out if you haven't already. And I have a video coming out next week as well. going to be doing a little bit of content before we wrap up for the end of the year. So there's probably going to be a bunch of videos over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, nice. That's about it. Thanks for having me on. And then we'll not
go on like a break, like halfway through the month or something.
No, I'm probably gonna. I think the week of Christmas, I'll take that week off. So I've got a little bit. We've got a little bit to go before we get there. So, but yeah, thanks for having me on.
Good stuff. Good stuff about Evan.
You can find me on YouTube and other social media stuff at Kimmerix Project. We stream Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and I do a lot of tabletop stuff. So it's kind of fun.
Good stuff. And then Sean.
YouTube.com/Dreamcast guy. I got some mega reviews coming up this week. It's going to be good.
Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll be back next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And I have to assume that is going to be a pretty packed podcast, everything happening, Game Awards, GTA 6, and probably a few other fun things thrown in there. So we will see you guys then.